When I moved here to Flagstaff and I got my own house, I started building this garage. And this garage is really a tribute to two things. One, the area in which I grew up in. It has a Texaco theme to it. There are a lot of things in here, but mostly Texaco type stuff. An old gas pump, a bulk oil distributor. I've always been around cars, old cars, and so I kind of wanted to have like a car, automotive type garage. And so I started building it, and I started putting some stuff I've had for years. The other thing it's dedicated to is my dad over there. There's 5 pictures of him and his cars when he was in different stages of his life. I keep all my CrossFit certifications over there. So my level 1 trainer certificate is over there. I have a nutritional cert. I have a powerlifting cert, an Olympic weightlifting cert. I have the kettlebell cert. I want to learn as much as I can, and I'm not a trainer, so I just want to do the movements as best as I can, and I want to share that with people. One of our trainers here, Tara Ross, she used to have a coffee place in town. So I come in the front door and I'm looking for all my friends, Amy and Phil and Tara and Lisa and Mike Ray. I'm looking for all of them, can't find them. So I'm wiggling through the crowd and everything. I get to this back room, and in this back room, it's a pretty large area, and then they have this top shelf that's about 10 feet. Okay, Lisa Ray, Mike Ray, Phil, Amy, all those guys were back there in that back room. And guess what they're doing? They're jumping up on the top rafters, and they're having a contest to see who can do the most pull-ups. While a party is going on out in the shop, but these freaks are doing pull-ups because that's the way they party. And that's how I got introduced to CrossFit. In 2001, I was in Riverside, California with my best friend who was getting married. And we were walking down the street to the barbershop to get a haircut for the wedding. And he pointed out a guy across the street, a heavyset gentleman. And my friend said, "Do you ever notice you don't see guys like that when they're 70 or 80? And this little bell went off in my head because at the time I weighed 430 pounds. And so I started to trying to eat better. I was exercising a little bit, but really all I was doing was walking. And then in June of 2005, I found CrossFit through some friends. I still weighed 380 pounds at that time. I'd lost 50 pounds, which I thought was pretty good at that time. But I came to CrossFit, and I met Lisa Ray, and I just started CrossFitting and eating better, and during the course from June of 2008 to I believe it was April of 2009, I had lost 85 pounds.
Working with his diabetes, we have to be careful with his feet. We would have him walk a lot in the early days, and sometimes if he tore his feet, he didn't know it for a long time, and that was a problem. But all of that has gotten a lot better, and he's been much more diligent about just working the mechanics in the past probably year or two than I've ever seen him. And the other day he wanted to show me his overhead squat, and I hadn't been here for a while, so I haven't really seen him working out myself. And I was blown away. I just stared at him. I was like, that's the most beautiful overhead squat I've ever seen. And I'm talking to Robin Moore.
Back in 2010, to go to sectionals, all you had to do was sign up. You didn't have to qualify to get there, and Robin had been CrossFitting for a couple years at that point and had lost a lot of weight and was just driven by the community and loved it. So he threw his name in the mix and traveled with a handful of us over to San Diego and competed in sectionals. The chipper workout that year, it was just typical chipper style workout, and watching Robin jump on a 24-inch box that many times was inspirational and scary at the same time. The more tired he got, he had a couple misses and fell, but he kept going. He wanted all of those box jumps. And I think prior to sectionals, he had maybe jumped on a 24-inch box once or twice. He had always done step-ups, but he was bound and determined, and that day he did it. And for someone that can barely feel his feet, that was a big task. After the box jumps, the clean and jerks, and just the whole crowd just rallied around him, and he was such an inspiration all weekend for people to watch him and just fight through for every rep. And the crowd just followed him around that chipper and cheered him on every last rep until the very end, when he was back inside the building at the end of the chipper and just collapsed, and the crowd just cheered and cheered. It was awesome.
Through this and in the sectionals in 2010, who would think I can't compete in CrossFit? It's too elite. And he's like, I do it, I did it, I competed to prove to other people who think that they can't do something, to show them that anybody can do CrossFit.
And this is what I was wearing when I was 430 pounds. So I used to put it in here, and I put it in the second hole. So I've lost a few pounds. And then what I did was, when I started losing weight, I just kept hole punching it. And so I used up the regular holes to there, and then I just started hole punching. People would tell me, why don't you just get rid of the belt? And I wouldn't do it. I just kept wrapping around me because it was a motivator. And I keep it hanging on the wall because it reminds me of all the things I couldn't do. I couldn't go out and hike with my friends. I couldn't ride a bike. I couldn't walk to the market, which was right around the corner. I couldn't walk a flight of stairs. I couldn't really swim. I really only have one goal, and it's still a long ways away, but I'm focusing on it. And I want to be a Masters athlete by 2017. So I'm giving myself enough time to have a good, strong base as far as weights and stuff like that. I need to work on like rope climbs and muscle ups and handstand push-ups. But I need to get into that Masters competition before like Mike Mosley and Peter Edge come. I want to get in, do it, get out before those guys come in at my age bracket.